right. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's Thursday, lots done this week, so yeah, it's good to be here. This is a bit new.
Oh, good. So basically, for those that are watching, this is our very first podcast. The purpose of all the viewers that don't know, Steve with the red shumper on, he likes a good shumper. Um, owns SQCDP, started the company in 2023, a couple of years ago. He made the first product himself before he went through an investment round. Hired myself, hired some developers, and now we're kind of trying to take the business to the next stage. We've progressed and scale nationally.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I just you've heard this story like a million times, but I suppose, and I've told it a million times, and I try and make it shorter every time. So it's I had a problem in the factory. I was getting all the jobs day to day. I was a maintenance manager, so I'm not a software developer. Kind of everybody who's listening in probably can tell straight away. But I'm from the factory floor, and I worked my way up from apprentice to being a maintenance manager in a big blue chip. And the paper systems we had in the factory meant that people weren't clear day to day at the daily meetings. So my clipboard was always full of, can you take a look at, can you have a look at, and I realised that the paperwork wasn't getting through the factory, wasn't getting to the daily reviews, and we weren't working on the right stuff. It was hurt performance, and it definitely hurt my feelings day to day because I was getting busier and busier. And I ended up taking myself off into the coffee shops on the way into work, learn how to build, learn how to do something with code, and then eventually gave it to the production manager and said, "What do you think of this? This is a data collection tool that replaces the paperwork." And it makes all these dashboards light up and do some cool stuff around what's really going on in the factory. He loved it. We worked with it, and then subsequently we've taken that into the business environment, started up, and again those tests that we've been doing, and we've been earning revenue from customers who are loving that product. The fact that it's download app, really accessible. It's not really expensive, especially in comparison with the rest of the smart factory market. And here we are building a business around it.
That's great. I think that's a much shorter overview than what I'm used to be honest.
There will be a few people on here who do know me, and they'll have skipped ahead, won't they? You're gonna have to rewind
Oh
a
yeah,
bit.
definitely. They'd have skipped at least 10. Like if the video is any more than 10 minutes, they'll have just skipped the first nine and went, "Well, Steve's going to be talking for that bit." And then,
Yeah, and
so
then,
I it was
something we must say. So who's Steve in the room? It's kind of in this business sense, it became Mitch. So very heavily known as Mitch, very heavily known around the doors as Steve. So I get a bit of both, and yeah, it's part of this new world, building a business, working with a team, working with a fantastic team, and solving problems for manufacturers. And we're just now we're gathering that momentum that I think we're after to solve a problem for many people.
yeah, and I guess today is just about kind of that initial introduction, and it's he hears us, and this is kind of what we're going to be talking about, and a chance to see the people behind the operation if you haven't already. And so far, you might have only had a LinkedIn message, and you might have only seen a profile picture. So it's good to hear somebody's voice sometimes as well.
Yeah, of course. I think it's here's the opportunity to get to know us. Yeah, we're kind of I've been immersed in that safety, quality, cost, delivery, and people problem for 30 years without knowing it, and haven't had the tools around me to solve it well, to really perform. Um, and smart factory solutions are very expensive. They're very good, but they prevent a lot of the companies that I've worked from building them in. And here we are in the 21st century, 2025, and there's so many companies still on paperwork, still don't know where they are. And they're the guys that used to be around me day to day. When I was struggling, they were struggling. They didn't have the same information. So it's really about solving it for those guys, quality engineers, manufacturing engineers, managers, operators on the front line who are getting frustrated at the fact that paperwork's not being listened to and so on, and nothing's getting fixed. So yeah, if it's safety, quality, cost, delivery, or people, I'm interested in fixing those problems, and nowadays through the team who are taking the product to the next level.
Great. In terms of frequency, we were thinking about doing this probably once a week for listeners to make suggestions. We know what we're getting on with, what we've been getting up to. Try and pick a topic on the day again, open to suggestions if there's stuff that you guys want to hear about, if you want us to talk about anything in particular, about anything about what we've been doing, anything that our app helps with, and it will be good for some feedback as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think people will probably feed us that. I think it's to be encouraged. Is it safety you want to really focus on, or is it actually how the hell do you get the team to fill things in an app instead of paperwork? How do you ensure that things happen on time? There'll there'll be all sorts of questions that I hope pop out of people talking to us about how we can solve their problems, because they're the real challenges of the factory floor day to day in so many places. I think the big buzz I get is when we're talking to new manufacturers who are introducing themselves and saying we've got this problem, and then we go and see them and find actually it's the same problem we thought they'd have, and they're still living it, which means we know we've got a solution. I think is incredibly powerful, that we're fixing the right thing for people.
And we always try to focus on the simplicity aspect of our app. It's nice and easy to use. It's we're not like your typical smart factory of charging people thousands of pounds to put sensors in machines and totally overlooking your staff members. We like to include those people because you employ them, don't you? It's that's why they're there.
I think that's it. There's so many businesses talk about the value of the frontline guys, and then totally want to exclude them with a smart factory solution. Let's get the hardware talking to hardware. They use the trust word. We can't trust the team and say this is your team. These are people that know the problems the best. They're the ones working the hardest to fix things. And again, the productivity out of a factory or the quality out of a factory pays their mortgages, their rent, and allows them to do all the nice things that they like to do in their life. So they're normally a little bit bought into the project. So yeah, let's include them, and I think that it's just where we've started from. That comes with us. So yeah, we're fixing it for those guys, and again, the incredible results that we see from all the trials and then the work with customers in the future is incredible.
And that's kind of where the first revision of the app came from as well, as it's trying to tie in those guys on the shop floor who have those problems every single day, and they know that they need a solution and they're facing the same issues, and it's just trying to find something to link that all together and to bring them together to work together as a team more effectively, and give them that data that they need but they don't know how to get, or the data that they don't yet know that they need, and but it'll be so helpful to them, and that's what we're trying to achieve, isn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah. We only win if we solve problems for people. And again, it's frightening how many people are still having those problems here in 2025. So every time we knock one off, that we can just be credited that we provided the tool that helped somebody else get better.
There's so many great companies out there that are still on paper-based systems, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're here to try and help them and make that first step or transition into a digitized system, and just overall try and improve and make progress as a company.
Yeah, and I think the opportunity with the podcast is I can't talk much different to this, Callum. You've had this for too long now, I'm sure you'd say, but it's this is how we are. We're from North Tyneside, Newcastle upon Tyne. We solve problems with a bit of a software product that is fairly simple, and I'm frustrated that other people haven't done it. I'd have bought this thing years ago if it had been there, and everybody seems to be looking the other way. So we look a bit different, and again, that's okay for us to be different. Callum, you're you. We're not really selling. We're not salesy. We want to solve the problem, and we've got to make a living out of it. But the key is that we can only grow by solving those problems, and we know they're there. So the more reach we have through a podcast, through people getting to know us and go, "Oh, let's get to know these guys because they're just like me." I think that's all we'll ever play at. And
Yeah,
not be
we're
too
trying to make
focused.
the product that we would have bought, aren't we? That's it. It's you've got 30 years working in maintenance, and I've worked in manufacturing ever since I did my apprenticeship and until I joined you, and now it's a software company. But other than that, fundamentally, I've always been in manufacturing. So it's these problems that we're aware of through our own experiences, and it's the product that we're making is the product that we would have bought ourselves if it was already out there, and that's that gap in the market that we've found, is that it wasn't out there, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think people will follow. So this is something for us to be aware of. But it's that's fine. There's space for us all. We get to help people become safer, produce the best quality they can, and improve. And it's all about their journey and the tools that the development team, the engineering team are now building in and are already pulling ahead with AI features. God, I've said it, Callum. I've said AI. Oh no, it's we're bound for the dustbin now. But I think that stuff's coming around us, and it's going to always be around us now. So embracing it and building it into the technology the way they are, that makes it accessible to a factory worker, that makes it accessible to a supervisor and a middle manager, to then the factory manager or the executive who says, I just want to know how plant A is doing. How's that product running in that department? That's all we're bringing, and we can do it in such an elegant way now, with what we've learned over the last few years, that it's just becoming more and more powerful. So finding more people to test it with and use it with, again, that's just incredibly exciting. Yeah, and if anybody's got a question about a shumper, just I'm your man. So
He's got a whole
sidebinders
catalogue.
I've got all colours. I've got a few different sizes now as I've aged slightly, but yeah, kind of sidewinder questions around shumpers are absolutely loud.
I'd say your third bedroom in your house. It's just like you open the door. It's just like coat racks and stuff full of jumpers and shirts. And
Yeah, Callum, at one point I used to think everybody had shumpers. It was only kind of as this became the corporate version of me as shumper guy, that I suddenly realized that actually this is a bit of a niche thing, and there's not so many. I think that we need to have a team Christmas shumper next year, uh, and yeah, that may be a fun thing. But yeah, once you're into them, I tell you guys, you're hooked.
I've not known anybody else to wear them before. I'm not gonna lie.
I say, but what's it called? The first followers. I'm a first follower.
I reckon we could try and start a trend, maybe in line with our podcast. It's like the Mitch Shumper trend.
Uh,
Mitch's merch. We'll keep joking on about that. That's it.
we'll do
It's
some
like
merch. Some
another
merch.
little, because we all had hoodies made with for SQCDP with the gold writing with names on and everything. And it was like, oh, we'll add a section on my website, Mitch's merch, and we'll sell hats and stuff to people in hoodies. That can be
We'll put
could
some
catch
links out.
on.
Let's get something going in the comments and see
We
who
need a
who wants
shumper
a
section.
who wants a shumper. And if people want to buy enough of them, we'll talk to Rachel and Mark about making us some.
But yeah, I think anyway we should just wrap that up there. We don't want to let the video go on too long. Today's only meant to be a bit of an introduction, like I say, and to gain an appreciation for who the face is, kind of behind that LinkedIn message that you might have seen, or if you've already seen our faces, it's just a bit more of the same, innit?
Yeah. I think people get to know us. They can pick up the phone. They can get in touch with us through the website, which again we've changed, improved. Callum, you've been right behind that. So we're easy to get into touch with, and easy to deploy the whole software solution. I think we're easy to work with, and yeah, where the software matches your problem, we can normally fix it quite quickly. So I think it's yeah, it should be like an old shoe. Just slip it on, and we'll work with you and get things done.
No, great. Yeah, spot on, guys. Thank you for listening today.
Yeah. Watch out for the next one.